One of the most common questions that I get asked on this channel, and a question I'm sure all runners are very used to: what are your shoe preferences? What shoes are you currently running in? What are your favorite shoes to run in? What shoes do you race in? What shoes should I get for training for my next race, etc.? It comes up again and again and again, and I have recently added some new shoes to my arsenal, so I thought I would just kind of go through some overview on some of the shoes that I have, why I choose different types of shoes, which shoes I use for different types of training runs, for races, etc. And the most recent addition to my running shoe lineup is what we're going to be talking about today, and that is the new Brooks Ghost 14s. Cheers, y'all. How's it going? Today we are going to be talking about the latest shoes that I've added to my running shoe lineup, and that is the Brooks Ghost 14 shoes. Before we jump into that, this video is just going to be focused on some of kind of the key features. This is actually my third pair of Brooks Ghosts, so what keeps me coming back again and again and again for these shoes? But like I said, before we jump into that, I'm rocking the Bib Rave hat because these shoes were sent to me for the purpose of reviewing as part of my participation in the Bib Rave program. So I am reviewing them. These were sent to me for free, but no one will get to review the content of this review before I submit it. No one gets to edit the video, anything like that. These are purely my own thoughts. So just wanted to let you know that before we dive into the review itself. And I guess review really isn't the right word, because as I mentioned, this is just gonna be sort of an out of the box video talking about the key features of the Brooks Ghost, specifically the Ghost 14s, why I'm interested in this shoe, what types of runs I will be using these shoes for, etc., and why you might be interested in them as well. So quickly, just to touch on a few key features. These are very kind of soft, very comfortable shoes designed to be really an everyday running shoe, a long run running shoe, shoes that are gonna protect your legs from the stress that they're gonna experience of that everyday kind of battering that your legs tend to take from running. So really, really focused on comfort. They were actually voted this year as Believe in the Run's, one of Believe in the Run's 9 most comfortable pairs of running shoes. So really, really comfortable shoes. Like I said, this is my third pair. I really enjoy them for those longer duration efforts, for those recovery type runs where you're not looking to really push the pace, you're not looking to really like punish your legs, you just want to continue to get miles, but enjoy the comfort of the ride, and that's where the Brooks Ghost are really perfect. That's really where they shine as a running shoe. Another thing that I'd love to point out, you may have seen right on the box here, this is Brooks' first ever pair of fully carbon neutral shoes. This is part of their initiative to become a totally net zero carbon company by 2040. Definitely a lofty goal, no pun intended, but they are making long strides in the right direction, and just something that I personally love to see. It makes it, I think, easier for me to support companies that are behind kind of initiatives that I believe in. And so very excited to see that, and very excited to continue to see Brooks develop these types of shoes in the future. But that being said, let's get into the shoes themselves and talking about some of the key features right out of the box. These are, I will say, much less colorful than the shoes I tend to run in. But that being said, there are like a million different color options on the Brooks website. These are just the ones I happen to go with. I kind of like just the crisp white look of the shoes, but tons of color options to suit whatever your preferences are. But this is just what the Ghost 14s look like fresh out of the box, as I said, and a few key things to look at coming out. So just overall about the shoe, it is a neutral running shoe, no stability support built in. When you're looking from heel to toe drop, you're looking at about 12 millimeters. I couldn't find the weight of the shoe listed on the Brooks website. I did find another review that listed it at about 10.1 ounces per shoe for the men's pair. So a little bit weightier than the shoes that I tend to run in. But again, when I'm looking for that cushion, that extra comfort on the ride, I'm okay with a heavier shoe because I'm not running too fast. I know my legs aren't gonna be crazy fatigued on the types of workouts I'll be doing with this shoe, and I'm willing to sacrifice a few extra ounces to gain extra extra ounces in comfort or in sole, and that's where the bulk of the weight is coming from, is from that midsole on these shoes. Now to talk about the midsole, again, get a good look at it here. That is really where this shoe shines. That is the Brooks DNA Loft technology. Their DNA line is really designed to be kind of supposed to feel like a custom fit that matches whatever your stride is and kind of adapt to whatever your stride may be. The DNA Loft specifically is their comfort midsole foam. So it is all about cushion, all about comfort on that ride, all about shock absorption without being overly soft. It doesn't feel like your feet are sinking into the sole. When a midsole is overly soft, I think you run the risk of feeling like you're losing some of your extra energy in that absorption. It's just being absorbed into the squish as the sole compresses with each step. That's not the case with these. Like I said, it's very comfortable, but still responsive. It doesn't feel like with every land your foot is just sinking into the shoes. It's just enough softness to absorb the shock of the ground while rolling forward. So incredibly comfortable shoe without feeling like you are sinking into it with every stride. And talking about the stride, talking about that transition as you land, that is one of the biggest updates I've noticed about this. As I mentioned, this is my third pair of Ghost. It's been a while since my last pair. My last pair was the Ghost 11s, so 3 generations ago. You can see they have taken quite a beating. I think I put at least 400 plus miles on these things. They have now just become my everyday walking shoes because of the comfort. So please keep that in mind when you see just how worn down these things are. But one of the biggest updates in terms of the transition of these running shoes is on the outsole of the shoe, or what they call their crash pad, and making it more segmented. So if you can see, again, these are really worn down, but I hope you can see kind of how deep the grooves are that run the length of that outsole. And so what I'm talking about is these grooves right here. They existed on the old Ghost, and yeah, these are worn down. You can probably see it a little better, less worn down on the heel there, but the grooves are much deeper on the updated 14, which allows the shoe to flex a lot more, regardless of how you land. So I'm personally a heel striker, so for me that means as I land, I just get a really good flex to transition from heel to toe. And similarly, if you land on the midsole, when you land, it compresses the opposite direction. But those extra grooves really make the shoe a lot more flexible. That was the first thing that I noticed pulling it out of the box, was just the design. Again, I feel like it's hard to demonstrate on the camera, but it really is a significant design change between these Ghost 14s and my previous pair of the Ghost 11s, and make a huge difference on the run as well. The other major update that I've noticed on these shoes is just the design of the upper. It's a lot sleeker of a design. It's a lot less fabric. It feels like it's much lighter, much smoother. Like I said, I think just a much slicker profile because there's just a lot less fabric on here. And that's because, as with a lot of running shoes, they've moved to that 3D printed style upper, a lot more comfortable of a fit, a lot more customized of a fit, I would say. And also when we get into that, when we talk about that carbon neutral, 30% of the materials, or at least 30% of the materials used for the upper, are recycled materials, but it's just a lot thinner. It feels a lot more breathable, a lot more flexible, and just overall, as I said, a lot more comfortable on the ride. It feels just a lot more sock-like on your foot, which I think is what you want. Just something that is so comfortable and fits just right, so it feels like you're just wearing a sock on the foot, hardly any weight to it at all. There is some cushioning throughout the upper, so the tongue is relatively padded, and then a decent amount of cushion and foam in the cuff and in the heel of the shoe as well. Again, just to make sure your foot holds nice and snug. I was very happy with that because I had my last pair of Brooks, the Glycerins. I had a little bit of issue with heel slippage and blisters on my heel. With these, it is locked in with the foam. It's in just the right places to keep my foot nice and secured in place. So that is kind of the key features of the Brooks Ghost 14s. I have taken them out for a few runs, really enjoying them so far. I want to put some more miles on them before I kind of give a full review, but just wanted to touch on some of the out of the box features. And again, what types of runs I'm using this for. I'm in the middle of kind of base building and just reestablishing a solid foundation, and these shoes have been perfect for that, to just preserve my legs, just enjoy nice, long, slow runs, working on heart rate training, working on recovering, and like I said, just slowly building up that running volume before I work into some of those harder workouts. And these have been perfect to assist along the way. Really enjoying these shoes. If you are interested in checking them out, they are $140 on the Brooks website. Or Brooks has also moved to one of those options where you can split the payments up into 4 interest-free payments of $35 each, which is a nice option if you don't want to pay it all at once. But I will say, I couldn't figure out the dates of it, but they do have a summer sale going on right now, so you can get them at a discounted price. Definitely encourage you to check it out. I have a link down below if you want to. And like I said, plenty color options as well if that's what you're interested in. But so far, I'm really enjoying the shoes. Perfect for the type of training that I'm doing right now, and excited to put a lot more miles on them. So that is edition 1 of my running shoe preferences. I hope that answers some of the folks' questions who have been asking, but really enjoying the shoes and really looking forward to putting plenty more miles on them. So thank you as always for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, please give it a thumbs up and share with anyone who you think may be interested. If you don't already, I hope you'll go ahead and subscribe to the channel. And until then, I will see you next time. Cheers.